Okay, this is 2E0EEY, 2 Echo 0 Echo Echo Yankee, Chris in Leeds, England, UK. And I'm going to show you today how to flash the firmware on the retevis RT8. This is the one with the GPS, and I'm going to install the MD380Tools. I'm also going to install the full user database, so when a station keys up, all of the information will be displayed on the screen of the radio. So I'm going to install the database, and I'm going to install the MD380Tools, which will the 380 tools will give you some additional features in the new firmware, which I will go through later in the video. Now the software I'm gonna be using to flash the firmware and install the database, I'm gonna be using this icon here, Oracle VirtualBox. I'm gonna be using that. So we'll double click there. Okay. So I'm gonna be using the KD4Z version 4, KD4Z Virtual Toolkit, written by Warren Merkel, Kilo Delta 4 Zulu, his call sign, over in the United States. So I've already pre-installed the KD4Z toolkit, so I'm gonna start the virtual machine. So the virtual machine is starting. You might get one or two errors up here. Just click them off. Just exit that. So the virtual machine is loading. Takes a couple of minutes for the virtual machine to load. So a couple of minutes. Click that off. There is some quicker methods of doing it, but you know, this method, what I'm going to show you today, is you know, very stable, very reliable. I've been using this method now for the last 4, maybe 5 years, and I've never had a problem. So you know, as I say, there's other methods, other ways of doing it, but this method I find okay for me. So here we are. The firmware's the virtual machine has loaded, and you can see all the different commands here. GLV stands for get the latest version. So all the different commands. It tells you what you know, what different radios this will do. It'll do the MD380, the RT3, the 390 and the RT8. They're the 4 main radios this software will flash. Now you've got to be very careful when you're flashing the firmware, because if you flash the wrong firmware to the radio, you are risking bricking the radio. So be very careful. You cannot flash the GPS version to a non-GPS radio, so you must make sure the firmware is correct. So the first thing we're going to do is run the glv command. We're going to get the latest version. We're going to download the latest version of the firmware. So we type glv into there and we press enter. So it's going to update the KD4Z toolkit and it's going to download the latest database and latest firmware. So that is now downloading. And over here we have the cable. Somewhere we have the cable. So that is downloading. So let me get the programming cable. So that's downloading the firmware. So this is the programming cable for the retevis. USB on one hand, and on the other end we have the jack plugs. So as you can see, it's still downloading the latest version. So while I'm waiting, I'm going to plug the USB in. Let's have a look. Plug that into here. That plugs nicely into there, and it's still downloading getting the latest version. So I've got a 20p piece here to take the side from the radio. So let me unscrew take the screw out of the radio. So I take the screw out, and underneath here we have so there we are. That's where the cable goes in the radio. It's still downloading. You don't need to worry too much about this writing. It's all written in Linux. So you know, it's a Linux virtual machine working on Windows 10 here. So you don't need to worry too much about that's just all the different code, the Linux code. So you don't need to worry too much about what's going on here. So I'm gonna plug the cable into the radio like that, and I'll put the radio there. Okay. So downloading from radioid.net, normalizing. It's nearly downloaded, I think, now. It takes 5 minutes or so to download the latest version. But once you've downloaded this bit, the GLV, you know, everything else can be done offline. You only need the internet to download the latest version. So you know, everything else, as I say, can after this can be done offline. So there we are. We're just about finished downloading. Any time now, it should return to the main menu in the virtual machine. We're just waiting. So there we are. So if we type menu, we are now complete. That will bring us back to the main menu, like that. Okay, so we've got the latest version downloaded, okay, which is very good. Now then, what we need to do, we need to put the video in DFU mode. So what we do, this is a retevis RT8. This is an RT8. So this top button here, and this the PTT button here, we need to hold them two buttons and switch the radio on. So hold this one and hold that one. So press them both together and we switch the radio on. And the light on the top will be flashing red and green. This is indicating that the radio is in the DFU mode. The radio must be in the DFU mode, or the firmware cannot be flashed. So once again, you need to hold this button and hold the PTT together, and then turn the radio on. Okay, so all is good. The lights are flashing, green and red. That's indicating that the radio is in DFU mode. So now I'm using an RT8. I'm using the version with the GPS. So I need to flash the version with the GPS. So if I type flash, this is for the MD380, the RT3 without the GPS. I'm using the radio with the GPS, so I need to use flash GPS command, so that I am flashing the radio with the GPS, the MD390 or the RT8. Okay, so flash GPS, and the radio is in DFU mode. We're ready to go, so press enter. Radio should be connected in DFU mode, beginning the firmware upgrade. So you won't see anything on the radio, the screen. You won't see anything. Everything is on the computer here. So 22% complete. And now we are flashing the firmware. We're installing the MD380Tools onto the radio. And I will explain a little bit later, the functions of the MD380Tools, because some of you will be wondering what's the point, what do you get new, what is different. So I will go through the menus when the MD380Tools is downloaded and installed. So okay, 100% complete. It's now safe to disconnect or reboot the radio. So the radio automatically switches itself on. Now then, so we've downloaded, we've installed the firmware. That's 100% complete. Now we need to do the user database. We need to install the database. So we're going to type flash DB, flash database. Please note that the radio is not in DFU mode. The radio doesn't have to be in DFU mode when you're flashing the database. It only needs to be in DFU mode when you're flashing the firmware. So the radio is in normal mode for flashing the database. I'll just lay that down like that so you can actually see what is happening here. So flash DB, flash the database, we press enter. Okay, so it's erasing the memory, and then it will install the database. So it need to erase the normal memory first, and then that will be replaced by the new CSV file. So On the radio it says PC program USB mode, which is normal mode. It's communicating with the computer right now with the cable. And we have 10%. We are erasing the memory at the moment. Getting ready, preparing to install the new file into the memory. I think the RT8, I think it has about 16 megabytes maximum memory space. So you know, 16 megabytes, that's enough you know, for the whole of the CSV file. So let's have a look. We are 30% erased. You know, don't worry, don't be put off by this. It's erasing the memory. This puts a lot of people off, but trust me, you know, this does work out. So it does take a bit of time to do. 40%. And then it'll go through the procedure of rebuilding the file and placing it into the memory with the full DMR Marc database, the entire database. That's what we've just downloaded at the beginning of the video. We installed, you know, the get latest version. We downloaded the latest firmware, and we also downloaded the latest database at the time. So it's just erasing 50%. It's a very good toolkit. I will go through the functionalities of this toolkit. It's currently running on Oracle, and the toolkit here, it's a virtual machine. It works on Windows, and it's a Linux virtual machine written by Warren Merkel. It's a USAM. His call sign is Kilo Delta 4 Zulu. And you can look him up on QRZ.com. So all credit goes to Warren. You know, I'm just demonstrating his software. So all the credit goes to Warren Merkel, Kilo Delta 4 Zulu. He made it all possible. 80% erased the memory file. And then we're gonna start to rebuild the memory file, the CSV file, which is the entire DMR Marc database. I'll start to install to the radio. So we are 80%. Connection to the radio is still good. %. We're nearly ready to install. Okay, so anytime now we should start rebuilding the CSV file in the memory. Okay, so that's complete. We are now starting to flash the database into the radio. We're still communicating with the radio, which is good. So we'll get the progress as it flashes the database to the radio. So 10% is written to the radio. So now, as you can see, it's starting to rebuild the file in the memory of the radio. This is why I told you not to worry. Don't be put off when it says erase, because the memory is going to be rebuilt. It's 10% progress, 20% progress. So everything is going smoothly here. Still a good connection to the radio, so the flash so far successful. So it does take quite a while, but it's very stable. You do get other ones, other toolkits where you just press a button and away it goes. But you do find from time to time you do get errors. This is very stable. I've been using it for the last 4, maybe 5 years, and I've never ever had a problem with it. Virtually impossible to brick the radio, because if it goes wrong, if you only get a part flash, you just restart the process and reflash the radio. So it's virtually impossible to brick the radio. If it goes wrong, just start again at the beginning and reflash. So we're 40% right in the database to the radio. Radio is still in good shape, communicating well with the software and the computer. We're running Windows 10 here on a laptop. Quite an old laptop, so it doesn't have to be anything special. Just a normal laptop running. It's about 1.4 gigahertz processor, something like that. So 60% done. Things are going. I don't know if it's worth mentioning as well. I keep moving the mouse, keep the program active as it's writing, because you don't want the program to go into sleep mode. So I just to be honest, as a precaution, I just every now and again move the mouse to keep the virtual machine awake. So we are 70% done. Still good connection with the radio. PC program in USB mode. And don't forget, the user database is in normal mode. The radio has to be in normal mode. You only need the radio in DFU mode for the firmware. For the database, it's normal mode. So we are 80%. So we're not far off now. The write progress 90% for the user database. We've already installed the firmware. So we are nearly complete. We are doing good. Good communication with the computer. So rebooting radio now. So look, the radio has rebooted. Automatically reboots. So that's it. The virtual machine is complete. So I can close that down. Exit the virtual machine. I can close. So okay. So now I can disconnect the cable. And the radio is now the radio now has the full database installed, and it also has the MD380 tools installed. So if I go into the menu and I go down, all the way down, one moment, go down. Too far. Utilities. Confirm. And then I go down. MD380Tools appears in the menu. So if I confirm, so you can see all new things. You can alter the display, the radio, DMR, SMS service. The keyboard, tones, developer mode. So I'm gonna go into DMR setup. confirm. So I can select a talk group. I can do the net monitor, Perseus mode, edit the talk DMR ID. I can change the DMR ID without having to edit the code plug. I can do it on the radio. I can select the talk group. It doesn't matter if it's not in the code plug. I can edit the talk group, and I can edit the DMR ID. So let me demonstrate this new firmware. If I press the red button, and it brings this screen up. So at the moment I don't have talk group 91 in my code plug, but I want to use talk group 91. So I go down to talk group, select wrong button. This button. Okay. So I want to go to talk group 91. Press the green button, and then I key up the radio. This will take me to talk group 91, and I do not have the talk group in my code plug. It will automatically connect me, and I do not need the code plug. So I'm using the jumbo spot. The jumbo spot's over there. I'm using the hotspot. So exit. So now I am connected to talk group 91. I did not edit the code plug. I did everything on the radio. So I'm just waiting now. When somebody keys the radio up, all of the information, here we are, all of the information will be displayed on the screen. So let me see if we can hear anybody, and then I can demonstrate to you the user database comes up on the screen here. There, Wiki 7 something. I didn't quite get the call sign. But all of the information came on the screen, so people are just keying up here at the moment. Nobody's talking. Somebody in the Netherlands.
There, for a second, telling somebody you were on your compressor was a little too loud. I think you were on the mic.
There we are. So we've got a call sign. His name is in Massachusetts, in the USA. So all of the information comes up on the radio.
Anyway, back to you.
Okay, so I'm going to disconnect the talk group. I just wanted to demonstrate the user database. So
P09 Tango Papa.
So talk group 9. Like that, press OK. So I've disconnected that. Okay, so I can go to any talk group. Any talk group, it doesn't matter whether it's in my code plug or not. So this is how I do it. I don't need to worry about code plugs. Because code plugs are very, very complicated. This new firmware, the MD380Tools, I'll show you a bit more. Utilities, confirm. So MD380Tools, the DMR setup. So I can set the talk group here. What else? One moment. So one moment. The radio. You can alter the mic gain control, and all different menus. You can alter the display, the backlight, the dates. all different menus you can play around with in the MD380 Tools. So that's a little video to show you guys how to flash the firmware and how to install the database. So I hope this helps you, and till next time, this is Chris, 20EEY in Leeds, England. Bye bye.